something happened in India from the 16th to the 20th of February 2026. India hosted the India AI Impact Summit. The summit took place in Bharat Mandapam, the biggest summit that India has ever hosted on any technology. We've had cyber events, we have other events. So the India AI Summit was so huge that you had close to about 500 sessions. Mind you, each session was a 1 hour session each. 500 sessions across various venues, across 2 different locations. And you had people from more than 85 plus countries coming in. The heads of the states were coming in. And in these 4 or 5 days, we saw a massive resurgence of interest in artificial intelligence. This AI summit was crucial. Why? Because it represented for the first time how Global South is responding to artificial intelligence. So, India is a natural leader of the Global South, and India has displayed a phenomenal show of strength, of magnitude. Today, when you go and address international seminars, conferences, they are still on a smaller variety. So when people from outside came and saw this conference of this magnitude, they were amazed. Why? Because, well, initially there were only 35,000 registrations. Then the registrations got opened, and then you had the Indian AI Expo, which is an exhibition showing the various developments in the Indian context, various booths, various exhibits, and it was a massive rush. I remember 1972. I was small. That point of time in Pragati Maidan, there was a big exhibition called Asia 72 that took place. That was huge at that point of time. But I remember even in my childhood, when we were attending that Asia 72 conference, we were being pushed. You didn't have to do anything. You were being pushed all the time because there was so much of rush. I saw a replication of that model in the AI Summit. There was so much of rush, so much of enthusiasm, so many of new startups, and so many different diverse topics that were discussed. Topics ranging from governance, accountability, transparency, ethical issues, issues pertaining to applications of artificial intelligence in various sectors of human area and endeavor, whether it's banking, whether it's finance, whether it's retail, whether it's health, whether it's governance, whether it's government applications, whether it's mobile or the like. The beauty was that this was a congregation point for all stakeholders to come together, discuss about various things. And I think the singular most important contribution of the India AI Summit was that it came up with a New Delhi Declaration, which is a declaration that's signed by more than 85 plus countries and their representatives, which is a collation of legal principles which India has pronounced and propounded, which are common legal principles which across the world people and governments are willing to accept. So this was one of those rare occasions where India was the thought leader, where India propelled a particular agenda, had a particular declaration, and that declaration got agreed by almost all countries who were present, including the US, including China. One of those rare occasions. But I think more significantly, the Indian AI Summit was also important. Why? Because it demonstrated the thought leadership of Global South to the world at large. Global South is those group of nations which are developing or least developed nations. So you have close to about 130 plus countries across the world who are still developing, who are least developed, who are not yet in the top rung. So they are the people who are invariably outside the discussion model. They are invariably not able to sit on the table of decision makers. And for the first time, their voice got ventilated at the summit. India actually ventilated the hopes and aspirations of not just 1.4 billion Indians, but also of the population of all these 130 plus countries from the Global South. So that's a remarkable movement forward. So don't expect that the AI Summit came to a close and that's the end of the matter. No. It closed at a very important juncture where Prime Minister Narendra Modi came up with the concept of Manav, M-A-N-A-V. And he came up with 5 different manifestations and characteristics of what artificial intelligence systems need to be. But one important thing that came up was a statement which said that India is now going to adopt a very graded approach towards regulation of artificial intelligence. And I think that's one subject that almost all lawyers are suddenly interested in. Regulation, law, yes, we need to be part of that. Now the scenario arises, where do we stand today, and how is the future looking at in terms of AI regulation, policy, and governance as also accountability.